Remember the defendant's testimony. The moment he entered the victim's office, someone attacked him. Mr. Delight said he felt dazed. I'm willing to wager that he was knocked unconscious for at least a few minutes. Unconscious? So he fainted? That's why Mr. Delight didn't know that the buzzer had sounded. And that's why he thought he had time to hit the body, to hide the body.
So what are you trying to say?
Mr. Delight was knocked out, and the buzzer went off soon afterwards. Now, unless my client was able to hit the buzzer while he was unconscious, it can only mean that there was another person in that room. That's right, whoever was knocked out around the light, and then pressed the buzzer. Oh, by the way, you got caught. Yeah.
Yeah, we just caught you there.
Order in the court. Mr. Wright, this is... No, for God's sake, Otto.
Oh yeah, this is preposterous. It was this kid. Ron the Light is the one who killed Kane Bullard. Objection back to you.
Then press the buzzer.
It was the victim, of course. Objection again. He pressed the buzzer when the defense attacked him. He didn't die right away. He must have held long enough to push that button. Ah!
Game Bullard sounded the buzzer still. What is your opinion of this, Mr. Wright?
Bullshit.
I need to prove that the real criminal was there. How? Can I prove that it was the Game Bullard sound the buzzer?
As we remember, there was actually no fingerprints in the buzzer, and he was not wearing gloves, Kane Bullard himself. So that means I got the way. Let's prove it.
The defense's opinion is this, Your Honor. This piece of evidence proves that it wasn't the victim who sounded the buzzer.
The buzzer itself.
Exactly. Take that! I believe this is the piece of incontrovertible evidence you were looking for. The emergency buzzer? Is there some kind of clue on it? Absolutely not.
Hey, come on now. At least give me some thought to what you say before opening your mouth.
The fact that there are absolutely no clues is itself a clue. Now I'm the one who's clueless. This button has no fingerprints on it. If Mr. Bullard had really pressed it himself, naturally he would have left his fingerprints behind.
You just got caught again.
Let me spit it.
Ooh, and you spit your coffee as well. Ron the Light obviously wiped them off. How did you do that?
Why would he?
The prosecutions are the idiots. Oh, you wiped them off.
Yeah.
Why?
A guard could have come in at any moment.
He touched that button. I know he did.
So you're saying that he's worse than pain?
The defendant, Mr. Delight.
Delight was
Wait, wrong voice. What did you do?
I'm not starting to mask, always my flaw. What reason could he possibly have had to wipe the button for your fingerprint? Use the internet! Order!
It would seem.
I have to drink coffee.
Time for coffee. I have a limited supply of coffee. What new? I have been forced to eat the crow. I wonder what blend number of crow flavor coffee is.
1,000,000? However, if the real kill was there to see, why would that person press the emergency buzzer? Shouldn't they have run away without putting themselves in extra danger? That's a lot of thoughts. What's with this awkward silence all of a sudden?
It looks like you're fresh out of power tricks. There aren't you, Nick?
Just give me a minute to collect my thoughts. Oh geez, that's what would collect these thoughts in seconds. Going aloud. The real culprit killed Mr. Bullard around 1 AM.
And Mr. Delight happened to waltz in when the murder was taking place, right?
The killer clobbered Mr. Delight and then started the buzzer.
Even though security was supposed to respond right away, if the buzzer was pressed...
Security was supposed to respond.
Interesting.
Time's up, Mr. Wright. Let's hear what you have to say. Very well, then.
You got some guts like that. You know, an opponent.
Why did the real killer sound the emergency buzzer?
Well, it's obviously to call the security.
Well, what's the buzzer for? The killer knew that if they pressed that button, the guard would come running. And that was exactly what they wanted. Do you mean to say the killer called the guard on purpose?
Yeah.
Yes, although as it turned out, it never showed out.
Because it was getting caught clean at the time.
Oh boy.
What a touching story. You're saying the killer had the change of heart and called the guard and turned himself in?
No, I'm not. When that buzzer sounded, there were three people in that office. Their victim, Kate Bullard, who was already dead. The defendant, from the light, who was out cold. And the third
Pixelated
person,
shadowy thingy magic that looks like a look at me, but he's not.
the real killer.
But he's not look at me. Don't look at him.
Hypothetically, yes. Now then, in this situation, the real killer made an escape. What would happen? The only ones left in the room would be the victim and Ron the Light.
And if any security guards came running in at that time, they could have think that I was the murderer.
Yes, that was precisely the real killer's objective. To frame Ron the Light for the murder. I'll wait for it.
Phew.
Second time he spit. And he spit it! What the hell am I doing? Oh no, oh no!
Just get back on topic. Ah, it would seem.
Let's drink more coffee.
I have been made to eat my words once again. Actually, you have been made to do a split to take with a cup of coffee. Mr. Wright, who was it? Or was it trying to frame me? Wait a second. I'm the one who must start the mask, so... Nick, you mean the real killer is...
We're going to drag that person in here right now.
But who is it?
I don't have any solid proof yet, but think about it. The killer knew Mr. Delight identity. He also knew that he had been called to keep security that night, so the killer used it to execute a well-crafted plan to murder Kane Bullard. Now then, let's hear your accusation, Mr. Wright. Who was it that framed Mr. Rundlight for the murder of Kane Bullard? Obviously, look at me.
No, it's obviously Mia.
Shut
What are you
up.
talking about? It's Mia! It's obviously her! She's the one behind it! Okay, I was confused. Take that!
Anyway, have to look at me. He's the only one who could have done it.
Well, time to practice my Acadian accent.
You mean this Master Mask did it? Your Honor, the person being tried in the court next to us is not Master Mask at all. He is in actually the true murderer of Kane Bullard.
Ta-da-da!
What the twist? You almost the internet! On order! Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Thief and murder. Which is the more serious crime? They're not even close. Murder is the more serious crime, of course. It's a capital crime subject to capital punishment. Please remember the trial from yesterday, if you would. When Look at Me confessed, there was a huge commotion in the courtroom.
Of course, a famous detective was unmasked, as well as Mark Star the Mask.
Instead of being convicted of murder, he was found guilty of grand larceny. That was his true objective all along. To be found guilty? Master the Mask had the perfect alibi for when the murder took place. He was steelier than Lordly Taylor.
Interesting.
In other words, being found guilty as Master the Mask was Look at Me's airtight, watertight, and unassailable alibi. A guilty verdict as an alibi?
That's an interesting. Actually, that was probably a backup plan to use it in case something like this happened. So, Look at Me was pretty smart, if this is true. Ah, of course it is. What are we kidding? Everyone knows that shadowy pixelated picture is Look at Me. I mean, come on. You know, it's almost time.
For what?
For Look at Me verdict, it was a pretty simple trial after all. If we're going to stop this trial, we stalled out one, we need to do it now. Of course, that's assuming you have the proof the detective was the one that committed the murder.
Mr. Look at Me's trial is indeed attracting the attention of the entire country. If we were to be true and fail to provide adequate proof of his true crime, Mr. Delight would be left with no grounds for appeal. Am I really sure about this?
I bet it's only good when your life is right then. Mr. Wright, I believe in you!
Good. Mr. Delight.
So, please! Please, I'm begging you, dude!
Thanks, but my decision will determine the rest of your life. Really risk your life like this?
Yeah.
Phoenix.
I'm the ghost of Christmas future.
What was that? Don't stray, Phoenix. For your client, take the path of trust. Thanks for the sound effect. That voice, it sounds like Mia. Your Honor, the defense requests an immediate recess.
And I request food. Ha, so that's your answer, huh? Well, I request coffee.
Very well, I've decided as well. This court will now take a 20-minute recess. Mr. Wright, when we return, please tell Mr. Look at me to defend. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay then, let's do that.
Meanwhile, in the other place...
Let me press my Canadian accent now.
Oh my god, Payne's back!
Also Payne. Well, Payne has a lot of screen time in this game.
Yeah.
Well, Sir Detective Acme.
I have to say, Mr. Payne, you performed splendidly.
Oh no, Sir Detective Acme. You were the one who... That's enough. This court sees no reason to further prolong this trial. This court finds the defendant Look at me. Hold it.
Wait!
I knew it! Look at me is found, hold it!
Don't have down your verdict yet, please! Well, Sir Lawyer, welcome to my courtroom.
Who's the horser here?
My name is Phoenix Wright, attorney at law, and I wish to file an accusation against this man. Look at me.
Accusation? You accused Master the Mask!
That man is not Master the Mask. He's just a ruthless murderer.
What? Oh wait, they are family, so I should say what?
Yeah.
Well, actually yes, that judge is actually Judge Brother.
Exactly.
And they all both call Judge. So this is all for this set. We'll see you in the next one when we finish the trial. Wait.
No, wait.
We're just gonna do it now. It's only been 36 minutes since we started recording anyway, so.
Let's do this.
My sis?
I could have sworn I heard Mia's voice.
So then, she's still alive inside your house.
Sneaky boy! Oh, Mr. Light. Is it true that detective is the real killer? To be honest, we don't have any definite proof, but he's the only one who could have done it. But wasn't he at Lonely Taylor that night?
Not to mention, we don't exactly know his motives. I mean, why would Detective Acme want to kill King Bullard?
Oops, it's almost time. Better get back to the courtroom. I need to find some solid proof. It's gotta happen sooner rather than later. Oh, that was a short break, wasn't it? Shortest break ever.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's go.
Let's go.
Noted! This court is back in section. Mr. Look at me. Please take the stand. Well, how do you do, sir lawyer?
It's been a long time. I never would have thought.
Yeah, I never would have thought to see you acting so recklessly. I couldn't let them hand down your verdict just yet. Not when it would have given you your perfect alibi, an alibi by the name of Master the Mask. I'm sorry, I'm afraid even a great Look at me has no idea what you mean. Of course, I have been in the next courtroom ever since 10 o'clock this morning. I'm afraid there's no way I could know what's been going on here. You've been in the defendant's seat all day long, correct?
You don't say.
Didn't try this Master the Mask. Indeed, it's truly child's play to fool the ignorant masses. Not only do the poor fools ask me to protect their valuables, they even gave me a generous reward upon returning their own property to them. Take this red diamond ring that's sparkled upon my divine finger, for example.
Divine finger?
So you continue to insist that you are, in fact, Master the Mask? Of course. Very well then, look at me. Let us begin with this simple question. On October 12th at 1 AM, Kate Bullitt was murdered. Where were you at that time? What without knowledge lacks even the knowledge that he should be ashamed of himself. But don't worry, I will not hold it against you, Sir Judge. Thanks. Judge number 1.
Alright, Mr. Acme. The night of the murder, speak. We are listening.
As you wish, Sir Prosecutor. Great. The alibi. I was stealing the urn as Master the Mask, just as I announced I would. I had more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job. A photograph contains no one, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. The time at which the camera captured Master of the Mask was the same time as the murder. Huh. It seems the main point of discussion will be this photo of the crime scene. Everything else up until now was all part of his plan. There has to be a secret to this picture as well. Even the great Master of the Mask cannot be in two places at once. Now then, if you'll excuse me, I have a verdict to receive.
No, you're not.
Unfortunately, Mr. Ratney, we still have to do your cross-examination.
Unfortunately
A
for you.
fool is too foolish to know that he is a fool. That's it on camera?
Apparently.
Good God.
Anyways, I think he's trying to say that you're full of it, Nick.
The only thing that's full of it is his alibi.
Anyways,
yeah, I know this one. In this one, you have to press pretty much everything.
pretty much. But we're gonna leave the third statement for last.
So let's press the other one besides the third one. So this photograph is the proof, correct? Indeed it is. And the man in the photo is simply wearing a mask. This is why I am called Master of the Mask. But conveniently, that also means that there is no way to tell what this really is. What do you mean?
Objection!
Are you saying this is not in fact look at me? That it could have been accomplished to arrest his Master of the Mask, to create an alibi.
Oh, what an interesting idea. Are you saying that I, Lone Wolf Luke, had an accomplice? We gotta give it up
Apparently his name is not Lone Wolf.
we can't name the accomplice or else we'll get hurt.
Or let's give up.
Yeah, or just give up. Look at me with that KB security during the murder. Then the Master of the Mask in this picture has to be a fake.
Then there really was an accomplice.
But right now I have no idea who it was.
Huh. I don't have any idea right now either.
Baseless objections are just what that guy wants. There's gotta be another way. Going to find it. Anyways,
Let's press statement 2.
I believe Adrian Andrews hired you at one point? That's right. That was over 20 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. You sent the calling card to Lonely Ted 10 days before the heist. That would mean you sent out the card after you began your security watch, right? Indeed, there was no reason why I couldn't do both jobs at once. It was a perfect opportunity to see my latest target. I see. You truly are evil, aren't you? Yes, evil is what I am.
Hey Nick, isn't there something odd about this? Detective Etimi was always proud of his ace detective skills, right? But if the urn was stolen from the warden while he was the only one watching it, he'd have to no way of maintaining his perfect ace detective persona.
You know, that's true. It's kind of odd.
Anyways, I'll skip the third one.
Yes. Let's do this one.
Let's press the fourth one.
The last one. Hooray! About the camera that took this photograph. Oh, come now! It's not too clear what you're thinking. Huh? You think I altered the timestamp of the photograph, don't you? Oh, by the way, it's coffee.
I'm afraid that's impossible. The camera was set up by Wardy Taylor, and on the top of that, it was Wardy Taylor staff that printed that picture, that data. Unfortunately for the defense, there's no way that picture could have been altered.
I see. Looks like I better find something else that could be suspicious.
So this alibi is false.
It has to be, or he couldn't have killed Mr. Bull and gave me security.
But I'm not really spotting anything unusual. So I think we spotted already.
There are two possibilities. Either the Master of the Mask in the photo is a fake, or the photo itself is.
Anyways, and now we can press the statement 3. Now that we gather information.
So by photograph, you mean this piece of evidence? Is that correct? Indeed it is. That is it. The very thing that proves I committed the crime. The very thing that proves you committed a crime?
Sure, even you understand by now.
Lonely Taylor provided that camera. There's no way I could have tampered with it. That means I could not have killed Kane Bullet unless I had an accomplice. Come on, think long and hard about that night. The basement way, wow, and the picture that supposedly catches it. It's gotta be here. There's something funny about this picture? There is.
You bet there is!
Jose, are you implying that this picture is a fake? You bet I am. There's definitely something strange about this picture. We took a look around the basement warehouse that night before the thief took place. And there's something in this world that doesn't match my memory of that night.
Okay, if we remember that night, there was actually the Amy face statue there.
Yeah.
So,
Very well, then let's hear what you have to say. What about this photograph do you find funny?
it's obviously the spoosh, which is in white.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
The funny part is right here. Why this is a blood stain!
Ah!
Blood! No, this kid's getting interesting! Not exactly. This stain is actually pink paint. Oh, just
Not
paint.
even red.
And peach color at that. From blood to peaches, the judge sure loves going on his wild tangents. The problem with this photograph is not the paint. The problem is, when you consider the layout of the base of the warehouse, it turns out that something that should be there is nowhere to be seen. Oh snap. Well, Mr. Wright, what is supposed to be in this picture instead of the paint stains? The army fake golden statue.
Yeah, as we saw it the first day we went in the warehouse.
Exactly. The supervisor of the treasure exhibit stated the following.
Well, there's a good reason for that. On the day of the crime around noon, that golden statue just happened to arrive from the mountain turning hall. I realized that statue would be the perfect size covering up the paint stains. That's why I put it where I first saw it. As we remember that from the investigation in the set.
Exactly.
The
I
last
myself
set.
was there the night that thief took place and saw the statue in that spot. This picture was truly taken on that night. And that statue should have been there.
Objection!
But when I went there the day after the thief, the statue of the old bag was sitting in the corner.
Perhaps it was somehow pushed there accidentally? Your Honor, this statue is slightly larger than yourself and quite heavy. It would take more than an accidental push to move it at that instant.
In that case, can you prove it? Can you give us the rhyme and reason as to why the statue was moved that night? Can you do it, Nick?
Never mind who moved it. The real question is, why did they move it? Well, Mr. Wright, I hope you are prepared with your answer. Now then, who was the one that moved the golden statue the night of the crime?
So that would be look at me.
Obviously.
Well, not obviously, we're gonna explain that right now.
The one who moved that statue is none of that. Then look at me. Come now, sir lawyer. There you go again on one of his strange delusions. Mr. Wright, what base do you have for your strange delusions? It's very simple. The witness was the only one in the basement warehouse that night.
Yep.
That is indeed very simple. However, why would I want to move a heavy golden statue? Reason for moving the golden statue. Here's where our battle really begins. Well, Mr. Wright, what reason did the witness have to move that statue? The reason can be found here in this photograph. Look at me. You pretend to be Max Stardeman to create an alibi by showing you were at Lorley Taylor that night. But this photograph contains a single fatal flaw. If the statue had been there, your lie would be exposed like cheap film at a drugstore. That is why you moved the statue. A single fatal flaw?
Interesting theory. Please enlighten us. Oh, sorry, I can't read that. Just where, actually, I think there is written here. Just where in this picture does this lie exist? By the way, I hate how they do this. Did I already told you that? Anyways, what we have to actually show here is the timestamp.
Yeah. Because he moved it beforehand. Naturally, the lie in this photo is the timestamp. What do you mean? I'll tell you exactly what I mean. On the night in question, Look At Me went to KV Security and murdered Kane Bullard. Therefore, it's obvious. It wouldn't have been impossible for him to have been at Lordy Taylor this time.
Yeah, the statue should have been there at that time.
But what does that
In that date, to say
Yeah.
the least.
But what does that have to do with the statue being moved? Remember if you will, Your Honor. When was the statue placed beside the warehouse door? Well,
The statue was taken down to the warehouse the day of the crime, and it was placed there in order to cover up the paint.